Hi, I'm Richard Wheeler, and this is Richard Wheeler Works. It's a show where I work. So this is another bonus episode in the FBO Forever Lane channel. Why is this so slow? I see a lag already in the recording. Hold on a second. Maybe I'll close Slack. Is it closed? There we go. Maybe that's a little better. Still a little laggy. Anyway, we're going to go with it. So we've been looking at podcasts, right? And we were just looking at that podcast that was bought by Navy Special Warfare Command, the official Navy SEAL podcast. And so I reached out to some friends. I've heard back from 2 or 3 friends who I know who work in the commercial podcast space. And I said, how much would you produce this for? And without telling them how much, because we already know, right? It was about $223,000 is what the Navy has paid, at least to date. We don't know if there's other payments outstanding, but they've paid for which is about $4,600 an episode for a 50-episode buy for that podcast. Encoding overloaded. Sorry, more behind the scenes stuff. So let's do a little bit more here on understanding this podcast space, and let's try to get. So there are 2 ways to do it, right? The way we've been doing it is going into System for Award Management, sam.gov, and saying what, and doing a keyword search on podcasts and saying what has the government purchased. We could also go. And these are both bottom-up approaches. I was going to say bottom-up and top-down, but these are, to me, are both bottom-up approaches from different entry points. One is what's the government bought, but then the other one is what can we see that the government's done, right? Like, let's go to va.gov, a website I know a little. All right. And let's see if we can. How would we find podcasts? Maybe about VA? I've got some feedback here. Okay, Vantage Point. I mean, I know where the podcasts are. I mean, if I just do a search here, though, for podcasts, I wonder what happens. Okay, well, VA has reasonable search results here, right? Recent podcasts from VA Office of Inspector General. I didn't know they did that. VA Research Podcast Series, Voices of VA. Okay. Powered by search.gov. Okay. This is actually pretty cool. I didn't think to do this. VA Office of Inspector General, Freedom of Information Act Office. Okay. Oh God, 999 results. Okay. Well, cool. All right, though. I mean, this is like, this is what it is. There's no. Okay, so what have we learned? There's no, like, single. Uh, how do I do that? Edit. Can I do this on the fly? Preferences. Video. I don't know how to do this. Recording. Stream. Okay, whatever. Okay, so we're doing. There's no podcast landing page for VA. Does that bother me? No, that doesn't. I've been working on parts of the VA website since 2014. And I'll tell you one thing that comes to mind from having, and I've worked on other government websites before that. They're not the same thing as a commercial website. Many reasons for that, many ways that presents itself. Right? But one of the biggest that I think we're seeing on display here is that government politicians may need to sell themselves, right? The competition in this space is for ideas about direction. But an agency, a department that delivers services, delivers value, hopefully, to the people, they don't need to. There's not competition. There's not another Department of Veterans Affairs. There are other groups that provide services to veterans. There are not-for-profit states. There are other, but there's only one Department of Veterans Affairs. This is like a critical part of government, right? Like these are things like that are public goods, right? That government has a monopoly on. It's not that they have a monopoly on providing it. I know this is getting a little like political sciencey, but they're the only entity that's inherently assigned the responsibility. There may be a technical term for that that I don't know, right? Like monopoly or like monopsony or something, the government is monopsonistic. It's the only customer for the responsibility, the assigned responsibility. It's convoluted what I'm trying to say here. But anyway, what does that mean, or how does that play out in a website, and what does that mean about trying to find podcasts at VA? VA doesn't have to have the same kind, or any government agency here in the United States or anywhere in the world, doesn't have to have the same kind of attraction, marketing, the usability, a lot of the things that drive our experience inside a website today, a commercial website, is because that entity that's making that website is competing for our attention. And so it has to deliver a certain value of experience to capture our attention. But with VA, if I'm a veteran, if I'm a veteran and I need to know something about benefits for veterans, there's only one store in town. It's called the Department of Veterans Affairs. There are other places to get information, but I'm saying that who is going to provide those benefits at the end of the day? It is the Department of Veterans Affairs. If not the only game in town, the biggest game in town by far. So, without competition, and I don't mean this in the capitalist, markets always solve problems sense. I just mean individuals, organizations do better writ large when they have to do better than something or someone else, when there's competition. Okay, long-winded. Let's go back. Let's go back to what we're trying to do here, which is And so there's not a podcast landing page. There's not a master list of podcasts. We're doing a search. It's going to take time. Just learn that the hard way, right? So there's this HSRD, which I can't remember what that's. I don't know what that stands for. Health Services Research and Development. So I'm just going to go, let's say, to the first 10 pages. That's always a reasonable start. Okay, page 5. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 5 pages, 9 possible podcasts we've seen. Not actually done episodes, but like, series maybe. Voices of research. Okay, I've seen that. There are 30 plus departments and then independent organizations at that level, right? And then there are sub agencies and then there are offices. So you can start to see where what we do here at VA, once you multiply that by dozens, there could be a lot of podcasts. Now, VA is large. Aside from the military, it's one of... I don't have the headcount numbers off the top of my head, but there's like 200,000 people. Government employees, not including contractors. So if you assume the shadow government of contractor staff is, even if it's 50%, right? It's more than 250,000 people who are working at VA. It's quite a bit. By comparison, that's about roughly the size of IBM. I don't know if that's IBM Global. Also, that's not a date number. Anyway, moving along, keep moving. These are, I'm just swagging it here, guys. Just swagging it. Don't have to have the exact number. Okay, so, interesting, because I typed in podcasts, and I haven't seen the podcasts that I know exist. So we've done 1, we've gone up to 10. But let's go to Vantage Point blog here. I really need something to drink. Like water, just to be clear. Okay, that's loading up. I think. Okay, VA Podcast Network. Well, see, this is interesting. Can you even see that? Or is it blocked? Okay, well, it's blocked, but there's it. You put podcasts in the search, and then there's something called the VA Podcast Network, and it doesn't come up. Curated podcasts on life, business, and general health. Okay, so we got 3 podcasts here. Just dip down here so you can see that. So, Fresh Focus Podcast, Born the Battle, which is a terrible name. Vets First Podcast, Delivering More Together, which is from the Veterans Health Administration Innovation Ecosystem. TAC Talks, a peek behind the acquisition curtain, and Rocky Mountain MIRECC, which I don't know what that stands for. Okay. So we got, so let's let's was it drive.google. Should be just drive.google.com, right? And it is. Okay, so I'm logged into my work account here, which is where I want to do some of this actually. So I'm going to fire up a Google Sheet because this is tabular data I'm trying to create here. When I say work account, I mean like my day job of doing work for the Department of Veterans Affairs, managing teams that do that. So this is stuff I'm going to use later for that kind of thing. So, okay, we've got so I'm rolling it. I'm rolling over the URLs. Can you see that? You can't. Okay, so let's just open these up. Tabs. You can't. You see them? I'm always confused, like what you can see, what I'm doing. So anyway, I'm opening these up in tabs. So where am I going with all this? Is I'm going to get this list of. I really slowed everything down. So I'm going to get this list, and then I'm going to see how any of this has been purchased. Try to line it up. Close this page. Remember, some of what we saw was for some of the RFPs or RFIs that we saw. It was everything from just produce this podcast, like the Fish of the Week podcast, to like we need to do everything. We need to produce this podcast, we need to write blogs, you need to do analytics. You're going to have to load it up to Apple Podcasts here, right? So fresh focus. You know what I should do? I should say that this is Department of Veterans Affairs because I should just make a whole. Why is that beeping? I didn't know I'd set an alarm there. Okay. Okay, so we'll make column A. So left. Let's see. Affairs. Find the URL. we'll just start. We'll just take whatever is here now. We won't try to like make a comprehensive list of all the URLs, and we'll put the date that we discovered. So we'll call this organization, because that'll allow us to accommodate different levels. Title. Just put URL in quotes because we're going to do more. Description, and I will say date discovered. We will do this in bold. We'll say today's, well, we're doing this as sequence, but it doesn't matter. 2021. Let's format that to the date format that I like. Size. Okay, so we did that one. It says you might also like okay. The battle. Okie dokie. Just throw all those in at the end. That's first podcast. I know, this is great, right? Just watch me do data entry. It's so cool. VHA is exceeding expectations, restoring hope, and building trust within the veteran community. Okay, I mean, I never like it when VA does that kind of aggressive self-promotion. That's just me. Okay, this didn't... Close tab of this because I didn't open right. Okay. Yeah. I guess what I should do here actually is local 0. What am I doing? I'm adding some more levels because obviously it's not like the department, because with a large organization. So if the Marion VA, see what I'm saying, like VA didn't do it, somebody else did it. We're going to say that maybe it's this. We don't know who did this one. Yeah. That we know that this is BHA and this is BHA Innovation Ecosystem. You freeze one row and you freeze one column. I still don't know what MIRECC is. This in, that's a better. Notes here. Okay. Tac Talks. Which, because I like do work at VA, like I'll probably actually listen to that. You know, I should. I'll go back at a certain point and do categories here. Because like there are other there are other podcasts about working with the government that are produced by government organizations. So it's like a little theme. Okay. This isn't, okay, so caregiver support, local and national aids. This is like a resource page at VA. And when I'm doing podcast. Podcast is a word that's inside this information about cancer care. It's not a VA podcast. Center for Health Organization and Implementation Research. Center for Health Organization. Okay. So the URL on these podcasts I have, well, URLs appear to be www.hsrd.research, which is a thing I saw a lot of. So let's see what that, I don't know that acronym. Some of them are. Okay, so, but we'll do it like this. We'll say... just put podcast in square brackets because it's like it is a podcast. This video is a lot of them available too. this. Here's no description. Now I'm going to click on this because they have this patient safety podcasts, and I don't know if I saw that in the search I did, right? $30. So do I think in an hour we will have identified every VA podcast? No. Maybe. No. I mean, there was podcast appeared in 999, which probably means that's the artificial search limit, obviously, number 9999, right? So it's unlikely that's the actual. Why is this thing being so low? Is it just patient safety mode? Okay, Department of Veterans Affairs, Office of Inspector General. Maybe actually level 1 organization. Justice. I've listened to these before. I've looked at them. Listen to them. Okay, this is recent podcasts. Is this thing taking so long? United States government podcasts. You know, they have, so they kind of have a different, they have these report companions and monthly highlights, but they have transcripts too, which is useful. That's what I have looked at this before. How do I look at this? I guess it's because it's just like a view inside of what's going on at VA. Fraud, waste, and abuse. Waste, fraud, and abuse. Okay, so we got that OIG one. Voices of VA Research Series. This is just not. Put this in here. Tell me about this. Research development. Which is inside what? I have to go to the chart. But none of this stuff is likely. It's with the exception of the Office of Inspector General is. I mean, yeah, it could be directly under the Office of Secretary. I just don't. Is there a description? No. See also VAHSR and D podcast. That was, yeah, okay. So far we've got 10 VA podcasts that we know about. So they got different topics, but it's just one big podcast thing. I mean, that's really just that. Health Services Research. I think that's what I guessed. Go check. I mean, this, I guess what I would probably do at some point if I really kept going with this is subdivide. Yeah, because look, they have this series, Investigator Insights, but they don't have any way to do it by series. And then they have this Veterans Voices, which is what we just saw. Oh, this is really great. This is a great targeting tool. Targeting for for business development. So not just like who buys podcasts, but who's doing work. Like here, you're getting a view inside of different people's work at VA in a way that you really wouldn't any other way. That's cool. I'm going to come back to that. Okay, so this is a result of hitting one of those topic links. So what was that? That was. You know, this isn't. Again, this isn't a. You know, if you're in whatever you use, whatever your podcast delivery app is or vehicle is, there's a theory of discovery and serving content to you, but for that platform, if it's Spotify, if it's Stitcher, if it's Apple Podcasts, if it's whatever, you know, Podbean, I don't know what they are, but so this is not. There is no theory. This is just like, well, just let's put on a play. That's what government websites ends up being a lot of time. They know they want to have podcasts. So here, right, this is Health Services Research and Development has research topics, and then there's information within each research topic. and then I can get perhaps their podcast. What happens if I hit all topics here? So this is a search result. And as for eHealth, eHealth is a topic here. This just duplicates the sidebar menu, so I could go through. So the 25 topics. All right. VA Boston podcasts. Okay. So that's a local. And we got a few here. We got Radio Check. Radio Check Your VA Audio. And National Center. Okay. So this, seeing that they're doing this, a natural thought I have is, okay, well, let's get back to the thing where there are the different healthcare systems. Because, VA is a system of systems, as any large, complex organization is, right? And because it's healthcare, something that I've learned over the years, working in healthcare peripherally through VA and getting an emergency medical technician certification and keeping that current. And I was just working on a project in Gallup, New Mexico with the Indian Health Service as an emergency room technician volunteering. There are all these big tools and systems and programs and everything, but every healthcare facility is unique, even in a big system. There's a joke inside VA. It's kind of a sick joke, but it's like, you've been to one VA facility, you've been to one VA facility, right? Not like you've seen one, you've seen them all. You've seen one, you've seen one. And I think VA gets painted with it's too broad a brush. It's unfair, because that's healthcare as far as I've seen. I mean, you don't, do you go around to different hospitals in different states? Veterans, in a way, I've never thought of this. Veterans see it because they move, but they keep the same healthcare system. Healthcare is so fragmented in the United States. There's no assumption in any other population that if you move from New York to California, somehow there's going to be some continuity of care. VA has this, again, unique requirement placed on it by nature of the requirement to provide benefits to a specific population. If you're, even if you're at Kaiser, well, maybe if you're at Kaiser, that's the closest. Their Kaiser facilities. But healthcare, there's so many individual, or state, county and state mandates or requirements. That. Anyway, so I look at this, Boston. That means there are other healthcare systems. I would look at each one for podcasts now. This is National Center for PTSD. National Center for PTSD. And I don't know if that's on. Leave it up. Oh, this is that thing. It loaded finally. Here we go. sense. Description. I may go in and do descriptions here. I'm so inclined. I may also at some point go in and actually create an index of all these episodes. For me, that would be useful from an understanding how VA works point of view. That would be a level of detail that might be too much for some. Okay. And I still don't know what this is. So no podcast. Is this? Why did this come up with podcast? Go tools, lecture series. That's interesting. It's tomorrow. Understanding and navigating elevated suicide risk with justice-involved veterans. Okay. This isn't a podcast. These are lectures. It's still very useful, though. I think. So I'm just gonna bookmark that for later. Okay, so this is a link to a Born the Battle benefits breakdown. Okay. So I did that. Okay, so 48 minutes. We got 14 podcasts here. We looked at the top 10 search results on VA. So top 10 pages. So there's another 90 pages? Is that how that works? Yeah. And then we also, because I knew where some were that weren't coming up here, I found those. Let's just do a quick Google search. And we'll do try to dig in a little bit. We'll site va.gov star podcast. Right, so that is a custom Google. I'll do it like this. There we go. Didn't quite do it right. Aha! Aha! So we're getting so what did I do there? That's just if you do site colon, that allows you to tell Google that you're searching only inside a certain site for what the word or words you're searching for, and then the star is like a wildcard character. I know many of you already know all this, but for those of you who don't, this is how computers work. It's a wildcard character, which means any number of characters could come before va.gov, and then the slash star any number after. So that's, but it's saying it has to be in the domain va.gov, and then look for the word podcast. So we already got another one, Salt Lake City, equine therapy. Vets First, we know that. Whole Health Podcast. OIG. Vantage Point, we saw that. Voices of VA Research. VA Podcast Network, Won the Battle. She Wears the Boots, a podcast for women veterans. That's a good title. So we'll just do the first. All right, we saw that. VHS R&D, we saw that. JRRD podcast, don't know what that is. Page 3 now. Podcast for veterans with multiple sclerosis. Interesting. Ethics stuff. So one of the things I'll end up doing with this, what's the kind of thing I'll do with this? I will take all this I find and I will create a white paper or a report that I will then email to every single one of the organizations that makes podcasts and some that don't. And I will say like, hey, this is just, you see what I mean? I'll take my research. A, I'll make a video of me doing it. But B, I'm going to take this, I'm going to make a report, and I'll just reflect back to VA. Like, here's the state of VA podcasts 2021, right? And just give some information. Why would I do that from a business development point of view? Just to make contacts, just to provide value, just to show people, you know, like that this is a thing they can do. Okay, now we're getting sort of into, so what I could do now also is go in and say, well, there's a lot of results here that are all this rehab and all the usual suspects. Right, so what if I do, I could also do this then. Minus site rehab dot research dot va.gov this. See, so minus says don't look in any of those places, right? And same thing with blogs.va.gov. We don't want that. So we'll say minus site. So now I'm going to get deeper, bleed out all the usual suspects. Minus site research.va.gov/this. Advanced care plan, geriatrics. Okay. See, that's deeper than and that was getting blocked by all this other these things were hitting individual podcasts of these veteran. Okay. Yep. Cool. Veterans health net. Oh, that's interesting. It's a report about it. MS, homelessness, VA history. Okay, so now we're on page. Ethics, we saw that. Women's health, Salt Lake City. I would get that out. Employee whole health. Interesting. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, well, we've done this almost an hour, so I am about to wrap this up. If I were to, well, I will keep going. I would do more. So I'm going to do some cooking show, do some of this offline. I'll do more of this searching, like iteratively removing URLs that produce a lot of results, so I'm getting deeper into the Google search results. And we've got what do we say here? 14, probably at least as many that we just identified. So that'll be, that's close to 30 podcasts at VA that we discovered after an hour. So we can do another one. I'm going to wrap this up in a second and switch gears to something also health and fitness related, or health and fitness related. So, but also contracting wise. But we'll, yeah. So what I'll do is I'll finish out this list here offline, and then next bonus episode, what I'll do is I'll try to wrap it up a little bit into. Well, yeah, I'll just format it a little, and that'll be the sort of table, chart that will go into this report that I'll create. It doesn't have to be a lot. I mean, people don't have time to read, so I think a lot of this is just going to be awareness building. Saying here's what they are, here are the links to them. Take a look. If you're interested in learning more about podcasts for your organization, like it's that kind of thing, that I'll be doing. And I'll also probably keep iterating offline about getting some of this pricing. Figure out, do you want us to do podcasts for you? We could do podcasts for you, which I could. I have the resources to find people to do podcasts and good ones. So certainly better than just watching me do things on the internet. I guarantee. Okay, well, that's some more work for later. This is Richard Wheeler, and this has been Richard Wheeler.